And welcome to the holy grail of everything mountain biking right here at Whistler, BC. Crankworx World Tour, stop number 3 of the World Tour and stop number 6 on your Enduro World Series. My name is Brad J, joined by, of course, our color analyst going on for everything mountain biking, Tristan Merrick. How you doing, sir?
It feels great to be home, Brad. I mean, we've traveled the world. This is the third and final round of the Crankworx World Tour. But for our athletes today, this is round number 6 of the Enduro World Series. So, you know, the rigors of a full series for them has taken its toll. We're going to have to wait and see who's going to be fresh for this one.
Do you always look for this one as your favorite one because you're coming back home?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I get to sleep in my own bed. It's all these trails around here, and I think the challenges of it, right? It's a one-day race. It's 5 stages, and it's really all about being self-supported out there. You don't really have your full teammates to deal with all the things and your mechanics to help you out. It's you, your own, and against the elements, and it's a hot one here today. It is extremely warm, which is going to take its toll even more on our racers.
Well, there's been talk. I mean, last year, of course, we are here this year in Whistler, but last year in Whistler, a lot of the riders were saying it's a real tough course. How tough is that course out there?
Well, this year when they unveiled it, right, it was like, oh, there's 2 bike park stages, and then there's 3 stages out of the bike park. Well, let me just get this correct for everybody out there. Those 2 bike park stages are going to take up more than probably half of the racing, so it's going to take a lot of physical ability out of our racers. And then, of course, the other 3 stages are a little bit shorter, but again, it's dry, it's loose, and there's the ability to have a mechanical is pretty high out there. And again, like I keep talking about, heat is going to be something we've seen in the past, like in 2014. A lot of riders have little meltdowns because they're not used to this. They're not used to training in this. They're used to the high Alps.
Well, and we're bringing in right now our cork data right now. This is showing where the riders are on course at this moment through our cork data. Now, talking about, you can see the women first off here, but talking about the rain you guys have had here, does that change the conditions because rain has been kind of heavy the last few days?
I would love to say yes. It's been great for me living here, riding the bike park. But in terms of for Crankworx, things are drier than ever out there. And again, you have 400 racers practicing on these courses. They get torn up. There's no moisture in that ground. It is dry, it is loose, and there's rocks and roots everywhere.
Well, it's up to brand new, unleashing that cork data for you, showing where the racers on there. But let's talk a little bit about this being the 6th stop on the EWS, the 6th stop out of 8 stops. But let's take a look at the standings thus far and kind of break things down for what the riders have been doing this year so far.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with our women, you can see right there, you need a Gerg consistent each and every round. Isabel Cordoria, she is young talent. She is going to catch fire. She is the kind of rider that's going to strike, and she's going to strike here again soon. She had a great year last year. And, of course, Cecile Ravenel, I mean, what can you say about her? She is out in front, and she has a commanding lead and huge win margins. Not just a little bit. She is just taking a strip off of each and every competitor because she's training hard.
All right, well, let's take a look at how the guys are stacking up thus far on the EWS so far, since we just finished Snowmass as the last one. And then Richie Rude, super strong the start of the season. Can he continue the dominance?
Well, he did have a little injury in Aspen, so he's dealing with a bit of a shoulder problem with a separated joint. But Damien Otten, he's really, really close. He had a strong one. And Jerome Clements, the OG of Enduro, he has been charging hard and putting on a real good run at the end of the season here.
All right, Tristan, when we talk stages, we talk about 5 grueling stages. Let's go through these stages and kind of dissect them one by one. First off, let's start with stage 1.
Well, it starts in the bike park. The riders have been asking for it. They got it. It's 8 kilometers, just under 1,200 meters of vertical descent. And it's Blueseum and Black Velvet and all these other trails. And I could tell you about the course conditions, but I actually was up there yesterday to really get my feet in the ground, get my hands in the ground, and see how things have been deteriorating and how the course has been changing since practice started. All right, we're at the bottom of stage number 1. And if you weren't awake before you started descending, well, the 3,000 vertical feet is guaranteed to wake you up. All bike park, the whole way down. Lots of time can be made, but also lots of time can be lost if you're not feeling fresh with the legs. But of course, once you're in the bike park, everything's super fast, it's rough, it's rocky, and it's seen a full summer of abuse. Right behind me, we've got the Detroit Rock City Roll that comes down here, and just massive, massive braking bumps. Make sure you're still feeling fresh. You still gotta make sure your suspension's set up properly. You want it to be able to flow through the high-speed trails up top, but soak up the abrasion of what August riding brings, which is dry, dusty, and rough conditions.
All right, we can mark stage 1 off the list. Let's kind of switch gears and look at stage 2 and go on board with Curtis Keene. Take a look at this at stage 2 here.
Definitely, it's up on Blackcomb. It's a crazy train, and it's about just under 2 kilometers worth of distance there and about 360 meters of drop, but extremely physical. As much as there is a fair bit of drop in it, there's a lot of traversing. And what you probably can't hear is when you hear the GoPro, it's Curtis breathing extremely heavy. And they raced this a couple years ago, and they haven't really done a lot of maintenance since then. It rides extremely well, but come race time, it's extremely difficult. Big rocks, roots, and holes, and just lots of line choice. So you got to keep it going, keep your flow going. And then Brad, this is your kind of thing, right? You love the rock rolls, right?
That's my section right there.
Just nose it in. And it's the kind of trail that actually rides better in the wet than it is the dry. Right now there's talcum powder all over everything, making it extremely slippery.
Yeah, maybe I probably would ride the lift down on that one. I don't know if I'm going to be taking that stage. All right, so now we've seen stage 1. Went on board, saw stage 2. Let's talk a little bit about stage 3 and take a look at that.
Well, here's stage 3 right now, and it's out in the valley, an extremely short stage. It's a fun little lap. It's something I actually do on a regular basis. It's heavy flow to tunnel vision. And you've got these steep switchbacks here. You got the paparazzi taking photos of you, getting the roof shots. And then this is the section right now. You need to bury yourself as a rider. It's flat the whole way out the rest of the stage. You got some skinnies, some North Shore to deal with there, but you have to go into that pain cave. You have to put down the watts, and you have to be standing up, cranking the whole way down, Brad. Not an easy feat for our riders.
No, but this part looks like I can manage this. This is straight. I can stay on that straight line right there, breaking down things on stage number 3. Okay, we looked at 1, we looked at 2, looked at 3, but now we haven't talked to Hannah Bernard. Let's check in with third member of our team, Hannah Bernard. Hannah, what's going on?
What's up, guys? I've made my way over to the Specialized pit here at Crankworx Whistler, catching up with product manager for Specialized, Brad Benedict. Now, Brad, obviously a big day for Specialized, releasing the new Enduro bike. Talk to me about it. What has you most excited?
Well, actually, just that it's a bike that we can start riding out in the public now. We've been working on it for way too many years. Whole new bike from the ground up for 650 and 29. So this is actually a 29er. This is what Curtis is racing today. This year there is the swap box here again, which this has a tube. Curtis is guaranteed has more than a tube because he's looking a little thick these days. There's a carbon rear end on it now, which is something completely new. The wheel rate for the 29er went up this year, which helps out with the rear shock setup. All in all, I think they're just very excited for the new Geo.
All right, well, a big day for Specialized. Brad Benedict, thank you so much for checking up with us. Very big day here at the SRAM Canadian Open Enduro, presented by Specialized.
All right, thank you so much, Hannah. All right, 3 stages in the books. You've raced this sucker before. You know how tough it is. How you feeling after 3 stages?
I'm feeling good standing up here with you.
No, but if you're out there racing.
Racer Tristan would feel probably pretty tired and wishing that he was standing up in the booth with you right now.
All right, well, you had a chance to get out there at stage 4 and take a look at it. Let's see how things look out there in stage 4.
We're down at the bottom of stage number 4, and it is a gem, something that riders in Whistler don't really ride too much because it's just not really on their regular rotation, and that's Pigs on a Wing to short bus. But what we're gonna deal with here is the conditions have been drying out all throughout the week, and things are just getting extremely loose and dusty. There is no moisture in the ground. So for riders, it's gonna be a battle of finding traction, and as the course starts to break down, as 300 plus riders practice on it, and then come race day, are gonna race on it, you're gonna have to be able to adapt and deal with any rocks that maybe been kicked out or any holes that have formed. And again, knowing that you're at stage number 4, you still have the beast of stage number 5 coming up, which is top of the world all the way down to the valley.
I guess by this time you feel like, okay, the end is near. There's only one more stage. I can do this.
In reality, yes. But the scary thing is it's stage number 5, and we've brought back the classic, which is top of the world all the way down to the valley bottom, Brad. And that's more than half, a good chunk, about half your racing is going to happen on stage number 5. That's the terrifying thing for our competitors if they're not feeling so good.
And it's the signature trail, isn't it? All the way 5. When we talk about 5, it's the signature trail out here, right?
Yeah, I think we missed it last year, and it's great to have it back here this year. And for anybody visiting, right, you need to go do a top of the world lap. Brad, you need to go do a top of the world lap for so many reasons. A, you get off the top, you got Black Tusk in the background, an amazing view. And it's just 360-degree, scenics all around you. It's beautiful the whole way down, and there's not a lot of people up there. That's the beauty of it. It may be busy down here during Crankworx, but up there, you're on your own program.
Man, you're really putting the pressure on me. I got to get up there and do top of the world. I've done top of the world, and I've done it, but I'll tell you what, it scared the piss out of me being up on there.
Well, dude, you've been riding a lot more. I see what you're doing on Strava. I see what you're doing on
right.
social media. You're riding more,
Pressure.
so I think you need to go do another lap of it. And the trail changes, right? We've got some of the best trail builders in the world live here in Whistler that work for the Whistler Bike Park, so it's constantly evolving and changing the whole way down for everybody.
And it seems like if you've never been to the top of the world and being able to see the view from up there like you're talking about, it is beautiful when you get up there. So if you haven't done it, urge you to get up there, right?
100%, man. I mean, it's one of my favorite spots after I've been traveling around the world. Go do a lap up there and just check it out and hang out.
All right, we want to thank everybody for watching us on Facebook. I'm also going to invite you. We're going to be stopping the feed on Facebook, but join us on Crankworx.com. You can watch the rest of the show right there, Crankworx.com. Well, those all 5 stages, we just broke them down for you, so if you're feeling lucky, maybe you want to make it out here next year and give it a shot, well, you can do that. We'll be right back with more. Thanks for joining us at your SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
What is luxury? For Jeep Grand Cherokee, it's premium leather. And being ready for anything with best-in-class 4x4 capability and the confidence of select terrain. For the luxury of going wherever the adventure takes you. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever. 75 years in the making. Attractive lease rates now available.
Talking about 200 amateurs racers out there, and you're looking at about 100 different pros out there. So somebody maybe not know who to look for. What are some of the riders you look for, starting with the ladies?
Yeah, definitely with our top 3 ladies. I mean, you've got Anita Gehrig. She has been consistent all year long. She's got 3 second-place stage finishes. She's got 7 third-place stage finishes. She's still looking for her first stage win overall for out there. And then Isabel Corderia. Again, this is a girl, she got her first podium last year. She got 3rd place. Small in stature, big in heart, and big in riding ability. She's going to do very well on 2, 3, and 4, which are very tight stages. She's going to favor. But what can you say about Cecile Ravenel? I mean, 1st in Chile, 1st in Argentina, 2nd in Ireland, 1st in La Tuile, 1st in Aspen. This is her stage. This is her race course. She's going to be extremely dominant because she's been putting in the work all season long, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. 4 firsts on EWS this year, 1 second place in Whistler, and taking a look at the start list. Those are the rest of the ladies you're going to be stacking up against them right there. You're going to see Casey Brown, the mix, Miranda Miller, and the rest of them out there doing battle to see if they can get on the podium. Yeah,
it's good to see the part-timers up there. They're going to be definitely in the mix. And Caroline Chasson, we didn't see her at all at the end of last year, at the start of this year. She kind of, last time we saw her was when we were at Crankworx France, so good to see her back. And then as we're getting down into the pointy end there, you know, Katie Winton, the Caroline Gehrig, Ines Toma. I mean, there's a lot of competition there. Cecile's race to lose, though. In all honesty, Brad, it is her race to lose. But, I mean, strong names up there, and it's anybody's race to win, though.
Definitely, indeed. All right, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about the guys. Who are some of the guys that we want to look out here today?
Yeah, of course, with the guys, we got the OG Jerome Clements. This guy, he's been hinting that this might be his last season racing. He's won here before. He's won the title before. He's healthy. He's happy. I actually saw him 2 weeks ago pull out the Miracle in Aspen. But Damien Otten, a guy that loves the rough, raw tracks here, he's going to do well, I think, in the dry, dusty, loose conditions. He's going to be enjoying stage number 2. And again, a smaller guy in stature, he'll be able to get in and out of those tight trees on heavy full of stage 3, pigs and wing. But Richie Rude, this guy has been dominating all year. 3 firsts, a 3rd place. That was even with a flat tire. And then he had a little crash on Aspen 2 weeks ago, and he's our reigning champ from last year. So we're going to have to see if the body's been kind to him the last 2 weeks, or if he's going to be a little slow off the gun here.
You make a great point right there, because 4 podiums out of 5 for Richie. See if he can keep that dominance going on. Let's take a look at the start list for the rest of the riders for the men.
Well, starting from our top 30, Sam Hill, 2 races he's ever done, 2 second places. Fabian Brell, he retired last year, but he's coming out.
He's
Justin
back.
Leof, coming back from sickness as well. He had Epstein-Barr. Jared Graves, further down just due to some issues. Jesse Melamed. That guy, he won his first stage here on Crazy Train 2 years ago. I'm calling him on stage 2 again here this year.
I had a feeling that you would be hot on that one with Jesse for sure.
Johan Barella, again, he had an awesome ride last year. Sam Blinkenstop. Remy Gavin, not to pick on the Canadians, but this kid is a rookie, and he has been crushing it. Josh Carlson.
Yes.
Heartbreak. My heart still hurts for that guy. Let's see what he can do this year. But Martin Mays, that guy just came back off an injury. 4th place in Aspen. Curtis Keene, 2 top 10s in a row. He is on fire right now. Of course, Nico Lau. Greg Callahan, again, back-to-back winner in Ireland. And then Florian Nicolai seems like he's happy. If a happy Florian Nicolai shows up, means he's going to do well. Drum Clements, Demi Otten, Richie Rude.
Well, there's a lot of things we do special here at Crankworx, but one of my favorites is the big number. Now, the big number today is a little different. Why is it different, Tristan?
Well, we decided to do a little compare and contrast. So we chose the specialized rider of Jared Graves, and we decided to go against his former teammate, Richie Rude, to see what kind of numbers we've got between these two guys.
Okay, so it's kind of a numbers game. Let's talk about years racing comparatively.
Yeah, well, Jared Graves, he's been racing 4 years for the Enduro World Series. Prior to that, 4-cross world champion, downhill, you name it. Meanwhile, Richie Rude, only 3 years racing the Enduro World Series. Prior to that, junior world champion for downhill. So these guys, both very similar, but one's a little older than the other.
All right, so pretty close on that. Let's talk about stage wins. That's a big one, isn't it?
Well, if you follow the series, you know that Jared's had bad luck this year. He's only got 5 stage wins, and that was all alone in Aspen at that last round. Richie, he's been beating up on the competition. 16 stage wins alone. He has been taking no prisoners this year.
Okay, let's talk. Let's change gears and talk about total EWS wins.
Well, 6 apiece. It's a dead tie between those guys. Even throw in one more, you got Jerome Clements. So they've all won 6 apiece rounds throughout their career. Again, it's a young series. And then the last one, though, of course, total wins, 1 apiece. Nobody has backed it up in the Enduro World Series. These guys haven't. Jared's not in a position this year, unfortunately. Richie is. He is our current points leader right now for the Enduro World Series. And this is a guy that could go back-to-back this year if the rest of the races go well for him, Brad.
I thought we were going to have a tiebreaker at the end there. Well, that's the big number for today. And when we come back, it's all about the racing. That's on the way. Don't go anywhere. It's a Crankworx World Tour. Stop number 3.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50-tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
For 75 years, Jeep has been a class leader in 4x4 capability, pushing 4x4 fuel economy farther and finding comfort zones in an award-winning interior. They say it's lonely at the top, but finding parking is a breeze. 4x4 today, tomorrow, and never say never. Jeep Cherokee, with attractive financing offers now available.
And welcome back, SRAM Canadian Open Enduro, presented by Specialized. Brad J. Tristan America, breaking things down for you. And you know one thing I do want to talk about? You know where I'm going with this, right?
No, I haven't heard the story told at all yet.
All right, let's talk Crankworx Fantasy for just a moment. since it's something that I'm actually kind of good at, I mean, from Leger, you can win a trip to Rotorua just by picking the right people. I mean, Tristan, you didn't do so good, but that's okay because that was France. Now you can redeem yourself, but I'm on fire because I picked Tommy G to take the win yesterday, and he did it. So you can pick the people you want. You have a budget you got to work with. Pick all the riders, and the closer you are to getting them all correct, or as many correct, and if you take the overall lead, you win a trip for 2 next year to join us out there in Rotorua, New Zealand. Not only that, give you $500 New Zealand spending money to make things happen. Okay, so that's what it's all about. Let's take a look at stage 1, the leaderboard for the ladies so far. And I'll tell you what, it's a tough one out there on stage number 1, but any surprises there on the leaderboard for you, Tristan?
There's no Americans up there, but there's lots of Canadians going on. But a little surprising, Cecile Ravenel being down in second there because she's been so dominant. But Isabeau taking that stage win, which is good. I think that's 2 stage wins this year so far. So maybe it's the start of a great day, Brad.
So we have this person standing next to us, a very tall person. That man would be Alex Miller. He's a data specialist for Quark. Now, instead of me trying to explain what Quark is, Alex, can you tell us what Quark is all about and how it plays effect into Crankworx?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're doing out here with Crankworx is we're out here with the Quark Collector, and this is a live telemetry device. So the big thing that we're trying to do out here is to increase the spectator experience, and we do that by tracking all the athletes with GPS. And then this device actually uploads that data via a cellular network so we can analyze it sort of in real time.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the race intelligence here and see if you can kind of break this down for us, what we're looking at right here. This is for the ladies here to start things off.
Yeah, so stage 1 for the ladies, the big, or the main things that stand out with this stage would really be Isabeau's sort of dominance right through the beginning. So she opens up a big gap and is able to maintain that throughout the stage.
And you look at now Casey Brown, you see her on that red line right there. So that's kind of solid right there all the way through, right?
What's going on with the green, though? That doesn't look so good. That's not so good for Cecile.
Yeah, so Cecile, she's usually at the front of the pack, but it sounds like she had some sort of mechanical that held her back, and you can see sort of with that downward trend throughout the length of the course. What's really impressive here, though, is you can see right at the end she's able to fight some time back and get herself back into second place.
Okay, well, let's take a look at stage 1, the results for the guys here, and show you how things kind of stacked up out there. Blanky with that top time, and Connor Fearon in that number 2 spot.
Yeah, for me, Curtis Keene, only 7 seconds back. It's a good thing. Connor Fearon, his first Enduro World Series. And then Tony Ferrero, I mean, that guy has just been crushing it all year long. Sam Hill, this is his 3rd Enduro World Series. Good to see him up there in 13th, and he's going to be striking hard in that second stage.
Okay, so now we've covered stage 1 for the ladies. We've covered stage 1 for the guys, but let's take a look at the race intelligence, Alex, and talk us through what we're seeing here for the guys, taking a look at this right here. And the one thing that stands out to me is Josh Carlson, who won 3 stages last year. He's way down there. What happened there?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if there was some sort of mechanical or if it's just the length and the roughness of this course that really got to him. But he certainly fights a good bit of that time back in the last 1,200 meters or so. So impressive showing from him at the end.
But then you look at Blanky on that top one. It looks like he was just on a flyer from the get-go.
Yeah, so it's no surprise given his World Cup downhill background that he's able to pull one of these out. The other interesting thing to pull from this is the last 500 meters or so, Richie Rude really drops off and gets himself in 3rd. So not sure what happened there, but exciting stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can find out more about it, quarkrace.com. That is the website. Well, Alex, thank you so much for being in here with us and kind of breaking this down and showing us where all the races are out on course at a specific time. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
All right. Well, more coming up for you. Stay with us. Your SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. It's all on the way. Stay with us.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
For 75 years, Jeep has been a class leader in 4x4 capability, pushing 4x4 fuel economy farther and finding comfort zones in an award-winning interior. They say it's lonely at the top, but finding parking is a breeze.
4x4 today, tomorrow, and never say never.
Jeep Cherokee, with attractive financing offers now available.
And welcome back. We've talked about stage 1, but stage 2 is kind of a tale of carnage. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights and I guess lowlights too as well of some of the stuff that went down on stage 2.
Yeah, we're clearly outside of the bike park now. We're up over on Blackcomb Mountain. You can see here Fabian Burrell cruising down the hillside here. He actually retired after this, Brad, pulled out of the race. It was good to see him come back. He is retired in general, but was having a little fun, but I guess he re-aggravated an injury from previous years. So he's cruising down there. Lots of fans cheering on. And then second flat of the day, Jared Graves got the goggles off. I personally know him. I can't imagine what's going underneath his helmet there. And then Richie Rude as well had a flat, so he's struggling to try and get the tire off right there. So not an easy one to fix solo.
That's a pretty bad turn. This right there. Just got flat, and then thought my cleat came out of my shoe, but the whole platform of my shoe came out, so my shoe's done. So that's lovely.
And then we actually have a soundbite from Curtis Keene along with Jerome Clements at the end of the stage giving us a recap.
I think that was, for me, that was the toughest one. Man, you go that little bit faster, you just fall in the big holes, man. It's gnarly. I felt like I was on the 450 on a sand track, so I'm glad that one's done. From here on out, it's all smiles, man.
Cool, thanks, mate.
So stage 2 was awesome. This is a proper stage. Lots of fun, challenging, hard to race. But I kept the good flow, and I think I pleased the crowd at some points. The rear wheel was a bit sideways. So yeah, happy with that. That's for me, racing.
Thank you.
All right, that's stage 2. Let's talk about stage 3. You're probably getting pretty tired by now.
Yeah, a little less rugged, a little less physical in the sense of big holes and stuff, but you have to bury yourself at the end of stage 3 because it's a big, long pedal, and you actually have to transfer from Blackcomb all the way out past Creekside to get to stage 3, Brad.
That's a lot of work. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Jesse Melamed, a guy that you've been hyped on. Let's take a look at him here. First part here in stage 3. Taking a look.
The hype is real. That kid coming in there quick. We got some slow-mo, so a little counter steer, Scandi drift as he comes in there. He's going to lay that into the right-hand side. So we're able to really look at body positioning. Jesse rides really kind of on the edge and then bites him on a regular basis. We can see coming in here, Curtis, he's a big guy, so this is the trail is not going to favor him just because you have to get in and out of those trees, in and out of those corners. You can see he wasn't able to actually really lean the bike over too much beforehand. Then coming in here, Greg Callahan, same thing, another tall lad, but fairly similar line choice. You got those cross routes, but you can see the dust and the slipperiness kicking up as they come in. So hard left-hander, and then they go straight back into a right-hander after that. Some great slow-mo, again, breaking down the suspension, how the tires are working. And you see Jerome Clements, corner's already done before he even gets between those trees.
Yeah.
Already done it, textbook style, and but he's a smaller guy. He's able to get in and out of these corners really quick. Expect to see him do well on this stage just for that little drift there at the end from Jerome Clements. Good, just to see him out here. And then good old US of A, Richie Rude here, and just hammering through it. Looking like that shoulder injury isn't any issue. And you can see here, barely even going through the suspension there, just powering through.
Continuing on, what amazing year he's had, he continues to do good. A nice little inside look at what's going on stage 3 for the guys. All right, let's talk about the ladies now. Stage number 3 in the books. No surprises there either?
This is starting to look familiar.
Okay.
Cecile Ravenel in that #1 spot. 15 seconds. So any hiccup that she had on stage number 1, she is going to be able to start clawing her way back up that leaderboard, Brad.
So it's good to see where they are, but I think, Alex, you can kind of explain a little bit more. We'll pull up the Quark graphic here and see if we can kind of see how things played out for the ladies here in stage 3. Take a look at this here.
Yeah, so the big thing with this stage is it's pretty impressive. Good showing from her. So this stage starts out really steep, and then shortly after it flattens out quite a bit. So
you can definitely see that there,
Wow.
3/4 of the way through, how flat it is.
yeah, absolutely. So we know that she excels in the steep technical terrain, which she shows in that first 400 meters of track, and then she, as soon as it flattens out, continues to decimate the field by dropping some real power.
Wow, and you look at the rest of the field too. They're all down low. She was far above all them. All right, so we've seen that how things broke down. Stage 3 for the guys. Let's take a look at the board here on this one for the men's stage 3. Taking a look. There you go, Richie, right on top, man, taking off where he left off.
There we go. Look at that. Richie, Damien, Martin, Mays, Florian, Nikolai. That is some strong showing there. Again, close timing. That's what we expect from that, but good to see Martin Mays again. He's coming back off of injury, sitting in that 3rd spot there with that stage.
And Greg Callahan getting a win earlier in the season, still in that 6th spot right there. That's the guy, stage 3 right there. Oh, yeah, and you think about Richie Rude, just, he started out the year solid. He had that shoulder injury that you talked about, but seeing him get back on top and take a stage, that's pretty good stuff for Richie Rude.
I mean, that's no surprising. I think the biggest thing is him just trying to adapt to it, feeling a little weaker than normal. He was on another level at the start of the season. Nobody really could comprehend what he was doing. He was catching people on climbs. He was catching people on the descent. So we'll have to wait and see how it pans out at the end of the day, but
sure.
Another stage win. Add that to what now? 17, 18?
Well, yeah, 16, so 17, 18. You're right. Hey, listen, one thing I do want to mention, Squamish Little Watt Nations, on behalf of Crankworx Whistler, I want to recognize the Squamish and Little Watt Nations for welcoming this incredible event on their traditional territory. And with that, let's check in. 3rd member of our team, Hannah Bernard. How you doing, Hannah?
I'm doing very well. Thanks very much, guys. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update. We've seen all of the pro women and pro men come down in stage number 4. And the biggest stories from stage number 4 is in the women's division. Now, ACC, Anne-Caroline Chusson, obviously such an incredibly inspiring story with her cancer diagnosis last year. We saw her in France. I got a chance to talk to her. She said she was just happy to be back on the bike, participating in the pump track. Here today, she's actually competing. And not only that, she's putting up fierce times. In stage number 4, she walked away with the 3rd spot. So such an incredible story there. And the lady that took the 1st spot in stage number 4 is Cecile Ravenel. Now, Isabeau Corderia has been tearing it up on stage number 1 and stage number 2. Cecile took it over in stage number 3 and number 4. She's only behind Isabeau by 6.94 seconds. So we'll have to see what happens in stage number 5. She could make it up. Guys, back up to you.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, definitely a heartfelt story for ACC. Great to have ACC back. She is a legend to the sport of freeriding for sure.
I mean, she has nothing left to prove. That's the biggest thing, Brad. I mean, there's nothing left to prove, and it's just great to see her out here, just even riding in the bike park. She's got a big smile on her face, and I mean, she's doing it for the joy of cycling. And, if she happens to be dropping in and getting a 3rd place on an Enduro World Series stage, well, that's pretty crazy if you ask me.
I'll tell you what.
That's pretty easy.
You are the real deal. If you can battle back from cancer like she has and still be able to come out here and still be able to put up some good times, that just shows you how good she really is.
Well, all these women, they train hard. That's the biggest thing. They train extremely hard. And it's, there's no fluke why they're able to get up on the podium. And, we've got lots of crossover athletes with our women's field. I mean, we're going to start seeing a couple Canadians coming down right away. Where it is, we've got Miranda Miller coming into view. So she races downhill, and that's normally a thing, but she is coming down 24 minutes and clicking away here. She raced earlier this year. She got 5th in La Tuile. Again, super steep and downhill there. 14th in Aspen. We're going to have to see if she backs it up. 6th here last year, Brad, and she is looking like she's on a pretty good time. We've been looking at the results all day long, and she's been in contention.
Yeah, in a top 5 finish, as you were talking about, EWS in Italy, that was 5th place for her. Didn't have the best of luck in Snowmass, a 14th place finish for her out there. But she's seeing what she can do out here, battling through all 5 stages. Miranda Miller, 24 and counting right now.
Well, she trains for downhill, right? That is her background. Trains for downhill. She's got 2 5th place in the World Cup. She just came off one in Mount St. Anne. And with the time we're seeing right now is just for stage 5 alone. Once she crosses the line, we'll get a full updated time of where she is in regards to the overall. But she is charging down here. And she's probably losing feeling in those hands. She's coming over the GLC drop right now.
Here we go. Look at this. Miranda Miller putting in those pedal strokes to cross the line. That's going to be the number 1 spot. Right there, 25-19-5-0 for stage number 5 for Miranda Miller. All right, now we take our attention back up top, getting right back into it. Who do we got going on next? Looks like Casey Brown, Tristan.
Yeah, another one of our part-time Enduro World Series riders. Her first Enduro World Series, she got second earlier this year in Argentina. She was sick in Chile, so she wasn't racing there. She got fourth in Aspen, but she has been putting on the charge as she's coming down right now. Again, earlier this day, she won stage number 1, second on stage number 2, second on stage number 3. I don't know how she's able to hold on. She's got no gloves. It's a 25-minute stage. She's sweating away there. She seems to be cruising, but it's deceiving with her because she's got so much talent. I mean, we see her each and every year throwing down huge whips. Okay, it doesn't look like she's putting in any pedal strokes. I'm wondering if there's maybe a drivetrain issue. Okay, now she's back on it. Maybe just this thing called fatigue, Brad. Maybe I'm just a little off there, but
I'll tell you what, 5 stages, that is a whole lot of work. And here we go with Casey Brown. She knows this mountain like the back of her hand, so you knew that she'd be good. Come down the GLC drop. Here we go. The time going to be checking in. Is she going to do it? Yes, she is. 25:05, the number 1 spot for stage number 5 for Casey Brown. That's all. That's also going to put Casey Brown in the overall number 1 spot, too, as well, for all 5 stages. Miranda Miller in that 2nd spot. So I take our attention back up top on this course. 2 of the ladies down here.
So looking like we got Annika Beerten kind of start to come into view. So earlier this year, she got second at the first round, 5th in Argentina, and then started having some issues, some health issues. So she had to sit out a couple rounds due to some getting some blood work back, just saying, you know what, you got to chill. You've been overtraining. You got a virus. You got to relax and get back in it. So hopefully we see her out here. I mean, she was our queen of Crankworx last year, and she was dominant, Brad. She took no prisoners last year as we're waiting for her to start to come into view here.
Well, you know, she competes in so many different events. And when you start out Crankworx and you have to start on day number 2 and you got to do the Enduro, and we're talking 5 stages, that's got to put a little bit of work on you right there.
Yeah, I mean, things kind of fell off the rails pretty quick for her on that in terms of defending her title, which is a bit of a shame. But you know what? The thing with her, she trains hard each and every day. She's now no slouch when it comes to putting in the hard work. And you know she's going to be back next year. She's going to want that title. Depending on who gets it here this year, she'll be back after it again next year.
Yeah, we talk about it. There's definitely going to be a difference this year. When it comes down to the king and queen of Crankworx, you know, Bernard Kerr, he's far out of the mix. So we're going to have a new king. We're going to have a new queen. But let's take a look at the overall leaderboard right now and seeing how things are stacking and racking so far. There you go. You can see them right there.
It's cool, though. I mean, there's pretty much all Canadians up there. I mean, I know Leonie picked in. She is from Australia, but she calls home here. But
okay,
Miranda
so
Miller,
honorary Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a bunch of Canadian girls up there. And, again, they ride the Whistler bike bar. Casey Brown, though, looking relieved on the hot seat there, hanging out. Even though they've been in the sun all day, we don't give them any shade. You got to just hang out on the hot seat. We got the camera on you, looking a little sweaty. But, again, strong showing from her there today, again, with taking a stage win, a bunch of top 3s as well.
And now she sits in the hot seat and waits to see what happens. Now, ACC, we have not seen Annika Beerten. No, we talked about, we have not seen problems up on the course, I'm thinking right now, for those 2 ladies.
Well, it's just an extremely long day. So Annika Beerten coming into view right here. Let's see what she's got as she's coming in. She did get 4th on stage number 3. She changed teams this year. Now she's with the GT Factory Racing group, and she's putting in a little bit of power there. But like we said, she was coming off an illness earlier this year. She says she's feeling 100%, but it takes a while to get that training back, to get that cardio back, to be able to do that. So utilizing the tuck there, rather than trying to pedal in, railing out that corner. And we know we're going to see her all week long with A-line, the dual slalom, the pump track, and everything in between there, Brad.
Well, she's not going to challenge that time right now of Casey Brown. The 25:05 is going to have Browntown sitting in that hot seat right now with that one. As you can see, time ticking away here on Annika Beerten as she makes her way down the course, coming into view right here by the SRAM banners.
Well, just anything can happen, right? Like we talk about, stage number 5 is back, starts at top of the world, but once you get back down into the, Whistler Bike Park, into the Garbanzo zone, rather than going into Little Aldern Expressway, where you now take a little bit of a different turn and you go down into Duffman, which is extremely physical.
And down the GLC drop, Annika Beerten, just a few more feet to go, and that's going to wrap it up for her. So she's going to find herself in that third spot, 25:42. So no one challenging the time right now. Casey Brown, that's the time to beat, a 25:05. Miranda Miller in that second spot, a 25:19 and some change from Miranda Miller in that one. And Annika Birchen will wrap up your top 3 right now.
The thing we got to talk about, right, is Casey Brown was racing for 56 minutes today. That is a long period of time to be out there on the track. I mean, they left first thing this morning. They've been out there doing their thing from the roundhouse all over the town here. But 56 minutes worth of racing, that's one of the longer Enduro World Series lengths.
Well, there's Bex Barona. She is out of Manchester, 23 years old. For the young Great Britain, as she will see how she stacks up with the rest of them as she makes her way down. That time to beat for stage number 5 is a 25:05, and your total time for your overall is a 56:26. So just under that hour mark to finish this whole thing. And to me, that's blazing fast right there.
Well, we used to talk about how long Garbanzo, DH was, Brad, and then now with the Enduro World Series coming here, I mean, that's just a whole nother beast. Beck's waiting for her to come into view. She does have one top 10 this year. Otherwise, she's kind of a consistent top 15 rider. Casey Brown hanging out down there. It's going to be interesting to see if that time holds up there for another podium for her here.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Casey. Stay hydrated after a very long day on your bike for sure.
I don't know if that's dust on the forearm sticking to the sweat or if she did have a little crash. Looking maybe like a little crash there.
Yeah, she's enjoying her time in the sun right now in that hot spot. That's the 25:05. And here we go right now. That is 2:02.
Yep, here comes Bex now.
And Beck's already off that top time right there, 26 and counting.
So definitely a mechanical going on there. You could see she was kind of pumping the pedals back and forth, but looking like maybe things are jammed up because she hasn't put in a single pedal stroke there across the flats as she was coming in, kind of locked at that 9 and 3 level there at the cranks. Yeah, definitely something going on with her right there, not being able to put any pedal strokes in. So you got to use your momentum. You got to stay off the brakes, and if you're not already tired, well, then you got to try and pump and flow your way down through the bottom part of the track, which.
And that's just got to be deflating at that point. You work so hard for all 5 stages. You get to the 5th and final stage. You're making your way down there. Mechanically, you can't pedal, and you're kind of along for the ride, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I think stage 5 for a lot of people here, it's a love-hate relationship. You love it because you start up at the top. It's an amazing descent. And if it goes well for you, you're stoked on it. But if it doesn't go well for you, it can just be the demon inside you as you're trying to get down the hill.
Kind of X's it up a little bit. Bex Barona coming across. That's going to check in the time of 27:14.27. Top 10. That's 9th place for Bex. Right there out of Great Britain.
Looking like maybe the chain jumped off to the inside of the chain guy there. So not ideal. I mean, that's the biggest thing is this little mechanicals. You hit a rock up there on top of the world and it can spell disaster and a long roll down.
And Tristan, you can't prepare for everything that could go wrong, right?
No, and I mean they're riding trail bikes on downhill trails, Brad.
All right, let's check in with Hannah Bernard standing by. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm here with the Canadian Casey Brown. Now, Casey, you were just chatting with me. You had a little tiny crash. Not anything too hectic, but you had a little crash in stage 5. Talk to me about it.
So I was on a new bike this week, so trying out the 29er wheels, just feeling out the traction points and seeing what it takes to make it slide. So I guess I figured that out on one of the corners and just went down. So yeah, got up as quick as I could and back on the bike. But yeah, it's a long run.
Talk to me about the other 4 stages. Other than that, was it a pretty clean race for you?
Yeah, for sure. Pretty clean. Stage 4 was a few stalls because it's so technical. I mean, I was just trying to make sure that when I got into a line, I was in the right one, so just being safe on that one.
All right, well, you're currently sitting in the hot seat. Enjoy the break. Congratulations so far. Guys, back up to you.
Well, and indeed, enjoy that for how long it can stand for you. Kate Witten now making her way down. She's from Great Britain.
Good to see her up in one piece, Brad. I know we were watching the Enduro World Series live feed of what was going on out there, and she actually crashed down the mega chute on Pigs on the Wing of stage number 4, and that is a no-go zone. So great to see her back up and cruising along here. She did get 5th on stage number 2, so she's out of touch with the time right there, but maybe she had some strong stages that'll bring her up in the overall.
So here comes Katie making her way down, 26 and counting. She's going to cross it into 6th place, so 26:10 for her, and also find her in the overall in a top 6 finish on that one too as well. So 6th on stage 5 and 6th in your overall for Katie Witten right there.
She is looking gas there. ACC coming down. She has got a mechanical, not pedaling, but she is cruising across the line there. But big round of applause for that lady.
Yeah, you got to give it up no matter what for ACC and what she has battled through. Now we take it back up on top right now.
And looking like we got the first of the twins here, Caroline Gehrig, as she is coming down. She's had a strong year, lots of top 10s, an 8th, a 7th, a 5th, a 7th, a 6th. Doing it for Ibis Cycles Enduro Racing, so she is coming down. Time, she looks like she might be a little out of touch already now, but she's always putting in a strong result. Brad, like I said, she's always been in the top 10, and that's been kind of her MO, right? She's not going to risk it too much. She puts in the hours, has a good time out there. Well, always a friendly competitor as well.
And you look, her best finish on the EWS this year was a 5th place finish in Ireland, but just recently out of Snowmass, she ended up 6th there. So like you said, she's always a threat for the top 10. Caroline Gehrig, here she comes. The Swiss rider coming across. What's going to be the time right there? That's going to be a 26:00.49 for her. That's going to put her in the 4th spot. So top 5 right now. Let's take a look at the overall, how things are stacking up so far, Tristan, as we kind of take a look at things with a few more riders out there.
Yeah, so this is just our stage 5 results right here. And look, or sorry, our overall right there. And Casey Brown just carving time out of the competition, using them 29-inch wheels to her advantage there. Miranda Miller in 2nd, and then Annika Beert in 3rd there. So Casey Brown with a good size margin. But again, there is some big time contestants coming up that have been putting in the charge. And again, we've seen in the past how much time you can make up on this stage. Cecile, I mean, she's going to be clawing back as much as she can. Apparently, she was riding quite angry on stage number 4, which, you know, may sound like a thing. Well, it can bite you, but it's a good thing because you can start really making up some time on the way down. So
thanks for joining us out here. SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. Tristan Merrick, Brad J with the call. The ladies, just 4 more left. Ines Thoman now 27 years old. She's from Germany. Canyon Factory Enduro rider.
Yeah, started the season off really strong, Brad, with 2 4ths in Chile and Argentina, and a little, 6th and an 8th and a 7th after that. She got 6 on stage number 2. She's got 1 3rd place stage overall this year. She's getting the tuck on. Her foot's really kind of kicked out to the right-hand side there on her right foot, so I don't know if maybe another little mechanical issue or something like that. It was really off to a weird angle, so as we saw with the audio earlier on, Richie Root actually destroyed his shoe on stage number 2, so I don't know if maybe he's not the only one to have a shoe malfunction out there.
Well, 4 more riders to go, standing in the way of Casey Brown, taking the big win here at the SRAM Canadian Open Enduro. Initoma right there. She is one trying to battle it back, so she's going to be off that time of Casey Brown, so she's not going to challenge the top time. We'll see where she ends up in her overall from all 5 stages combined.
She's bringing it around, coming into the GLC drop and being so famous for all the many years that we've been here.
And the time is 26:15. That's a top 8 right there. Wow, dodging yet another bullet. Casey Brown holding on right now. Boy, the worst that she could do is in 4th place right now with 3 more competitors to go. Taking a look, there's Browntown in the top spot, 56.26 right there. Miller in that number 2, Beertine in that number 3, Gehrig number 4, and Tomo right there in the number 5 spot. And now we take it back up on course. Here we go.
Yeah, we got the next of the twins coming up. Anita coming into view right now. And again, another strong season that she's been putting together and really coming into form lately, Brad, with the 2nd place in Snowmass. Coming in, she's looking into that corner nice and early. Getting the pedal strokes going there, so looking at the time, maybe not going to be really in touch right now. It's already out, but we've got the stage wins that are going on, and then, of course, we're looking for the overall. So the clock that is appearing up there, that is just your stage 5 time right now. 25 minutes. I can think of a lot of things you can get done in 25 minutes. And these guys have been these girls, have been suffering for 25 minutes as they're working their way down into the lower part of the bike park here.
So Casey Brown holding it down, 25:05. That's what she has for stage number 5. Her overall time of 56.26 for Brown. Has her in the top spot. She's in both of those positions. Anita Gehrig coming across. Here she goes. The time, third place. That's a 25:42.14 into third place. So Casey Brown still holding on the #1 spot. The worst she can do now is third with 2 more to go. Isabelle Cordier going to be coming up. Cecile Ravenel are 2 competitors left, and those are 2 that have been on a charge. Tell you what, you look about what Isabel's done. She has been on the podium every single stop on the EWS. Isabel's been on the podium.
Well, and yeah, she got her first stage win here. Last year, she got 3rd place, Brad, and she's just young talent. She's extremely excited all the time when she is riding, and the smaller, tighter stages are actually going to favor her stature. And you can see the time there. Things are looking good. It's that sub-25-minute mark right now. So she's got about 35 seconds and change to play with as she's coming down. She won stage #1. She actually got a flat on stage #2, but she was leading the overall 1 stage #2 along with that flat. And then second in stage #4. So she's been putting on a charge. She was leading coming up into this, but Cecile is going to be the one that's going to be breathing down her neck coming down here later on. But look at her. She is flowing through the trees there. She still has time to play with if she wants to get the stage win. We know she has the overall before dropping in. But what will she do? She's starting to come down here into the eyesight of everybody down at the bottom.
She's not going to challenge Brown for that top time for stage #5.
But still, she is going to be looking good for that overall. She comes over the GLC drop here into view.
Rubber side down. Here we go. Putting those strokes in, trying to get across the line. What's going to be time? 25:18.60 into second place on stage #5, and she's going to take over. Where is that going to put her in the overall? We're waiting for that to come in. The #1 spot for Isabelle right there, and your overall of 56.22. So Casey Brown going to have to settle for second in the overall, but she's still your leader on stage #5. Wow.
And looking at that, Isabeau can now breathe a sigh of relief, but Cecile is coming into view. She has been riding angry all day long. She got second on stage #1, got a flat on stage #2, Brad, and there was reports she was fixing her wheel with a rock, and look at that time. She has got over a minute right now. She's coming into view, Brad.
Oh, she is on a flyer right now. Cecile Ravenel doing her thing down the GLC. Here she comes across the line for Cecile. Has she done it? 24:15, the #1 spot. She takes the stage win, but how does that play in for the overall? Waiting for that to come in. Cecile, does she do it? She wins stage 5, but does she take the overall? Coming on in. And yes, she does. Cecile Ravenel on the final stage not only wins stage 5, but takes the overall. Congratulations goes out to Cecile.
Brad, that is what champions are made of. That is where all the hard work in the offseason comes into play. A come from behind win right there on arguably the longest, toughest stage of the year. When she won years ago, we actually interviewed her, and you know what she said? She said this is more important than any other of her wins. And I can't wait till we have a little chat with her to see what she says about her win here today.
Let's check in with Hannah Bernard, standing by with our winner. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm here with our gold medalist, Cecile Ravenel. Big round of applause for Cecile. Now, the story has been that you come out with vengeance since those first 2 stages, but let's start in stage 1 and stage 2. You had a few mechanicals. Talk to me about how you overcame them.
Yeah, start really bad the day, but my mechanic fixed my bike after the stage 2, and I must did the transition to the stage 3 really fast, like a cross-country race. I arrived 1 minute before my start. I start the stage 3 with a fog on my goggle, totally dead, like a
Well, it doesn't show because you put up the pedal strokes to get into it. You're gold medalist in the SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. Congratulations.
Yeah, and you know, doing it by pretty much almost an entire minute on the overall. Cecile Ravenel, not only does she win stage 5, but she takes the overall win. There you go. Look at it right there. Casey Brown, she'll settle for that 3rd spot. And Isabelle Cordier in that #2. So France 1 and 2, Canada 3 and 4. And we'll be back. The men, they're coming up. Don't go away. It's all coming your way next.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in. 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one by.
What is luxury? For Jeep Grand Cherokee, it's premium leather. And being ready for anything with best-in-class 4x4 capability and the confidence of select terrain. For the luxury of going wherever the adventure takes you. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever. 75 years in the making. Attractive lease rates now available.
And welcome SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. Tristan Merrick, Brad J up here in the booth, and the ladies have finished their thing. Got to give it up for Cecile Ravenel taking the win, not only in stage 5, but taking the overall win as well.
Yeah, I mean, props to her for that day. She battled back through a bit of diversity there, and I mean, it's always good when you see a couple SRAM athletes up on the top there running that new Eagle drivetrain and the RockShox Lyric as well. So 1-2 for those ladies.
Got to feel good about that. Let's look at what we're going to be looking at for the guys as they're going to be making their way down here very shortly. Our top 30 guys are going to be covering here. We thank you for joining us, one and all.
Yeah, definitely lots of action with our big dogs about to drop in. The women now, they can chill, they can hang out, they can relax. They put in their work. But so this is our current overall right now before we start seeing our top pros drop in. But here we go. These are some of the names that we're going to start to see in pretty quick here. Marco Osborne apparently had a big mechanical earlier today, so I don't think we'll see him. He might be a scratch. But we got Sam Hill, we got Yago Gary, Fabian Brell, again, another scratch there. But Justin Leov, that was the guy who had it stolen away from him. Points leader last year, crashed on the first stage, blown out the shoulder. Jared Graves, another scratch possibly in there. Jesse Melamed. Word is unofficially he is leading before stage 5, Brad. The local kid. Oh. He's got a slight margin, so we'll see how that unfolds. Robin Wallner, he's been putting in a strong ride all year long. And then, of course, I mean, you could just write a book about each and every one of these competitors coming down here, and there's so much to say about them.
Well, the Josh Carlton thing, Josh Carlson last year where he had 3 stages won and then just had a mechanical. He was en route to actually taking the big win out there, and you thought it was going to happen for him, but what a heartbreaker for Josh last year.
It's, yeah, like I said, I'm still heartbroken for that. You still kind of walk around in eggshells with him as a friend. You're kind of like, you feeling good about this week? You feeling good about this week? But we'll just have to wait and see how it unfolds for him.
Well, taking a look at things right now, that is what we call the hot seat right there. When you're overall.
Yeah, we got McKay Veneza in there hanging out.
He's got a 49.36 overall time for him. His time on stage number 5, a 22.25.
Bit of a rookie this year, and he's been putting in some solid rides. He's got probably 2 of the craziest teammates out there, as we were talking about Josh Carlson. And, of course, the local Frenchie, Johan Borelli, that now calls this place home. But he trains with some great riders, and I mean, this is a strong showing right now, right? Like, we've got the fastest 30 coming down here. Well, just hanging out on that hot seat, maxing and relaxing.
I don't know that's got to be a hard part too. I mean, yeah, obviously you've done all 5 stages, but sitting there and waiting to be dethroned out of that hot seat with 30 amazing riders still to come. You're probably not too comfortable down there in the hot seat, are you?
Nah, I think the hot seat would be the GLC if you're asking me, but that's just my race tactics. But Marco Osborne coming into view, so good to see him able to finish things out here as he's coming down. I know he had a huge mechanical on stage number 1. He was able to get everything back up and running. So again, we're seeing quick times there. So McCade set down at 22.25. Marco coming in. He's got lots of talent, this guy. He has the ability to definitely do things on bikes that most people can't. Unfortunately, he does have a bit of a track record of finding the ground when he is pulling those moves. So he's cruising down here. Again, down through Hornet, and you can see, Brad, just how big the holes are that are forming there. It's dusty, it's loose. And you can practice all you want, but all it takes is one errant rock that's been knocked out from the rider in front of you or somebody earlier on, and it can spell the end of your day. But he's still looking pretty fresh, though, across the flats. He's still in touch with the time.
Yeah, 14 seconds off. Here comes Marco Osborne right now. Down the GLC, whipping it out, getting those strokes in, coming across. What's the time? 22:19:38 into that number 1 spot for Marco Osborne right there for stage 5. Oh, this looks like Sam Hill right now.
This doesn't look like Sam Hill. This is Sam Hill, and he is making his way down right now. This guy's only done 2 Enduro World Series Brads and 2 completely different ones. He did Ireland, he did Latwil, second place in both, and he's running the flat pedals there. So just kicking it out. He's just, you may think he's just taking it easy, but he is putting in a strong time. He does have the little bit of a fanny pack steez going on there. The jersey's tucked over the water bottle. I will take away a couple points on terms of the look right there. But he is looking strong right now. Again, the thing with him is I wouldn't be surprised if we see him do the entire Enduro World Series next year, because he is enjoying the creativity that this type of racing leads to. You got these natural tracks. You're able to just carve up the hillside, make your own way down. But let's see what he's got here for us, Brad.
Well, a couple of second-place finishes, as you talked about on the EWS this season. Here comes Sam Hill. Down the GLC, the time in for Sam Hill. What's that going to do? 22:03, number 1 spot for Sam Hill. Where does that put him on the overall? So we know right now he's got the lead for stage number 5. And the overall for Sam Hill.
Shaking out that left hand there, maybe feeling a little numb.
Look at this, number 1 spot, 49:08 for Sam Hill. The number 1 spot overall, the number 1 spot on stage 5, Tristan.
And that is no surprise there, but flat pedals, Brad, everybody's been converting over the clips. This is the only guy keeping it real, as you could say. But the old hands looking like they're numb there. He's definitely shaking them out. Taking the gloves off before he takes the goggles off. He's like, I can't feel my hands.
Well, when he's competed on 2 stops on the EWS, but coming away with 2 second-place finishes, Sam Hill definitely the real deal out here today and showing you why. So here's Diego Garay from Spain, 25 years old. He is out of Madrid, doing it for Santa Cruz and SRAM.
Yeah, another one of their athletes. Again, they just released that new Eagle drivetrain a couple weeks ago, so he's running that, a big old 50-tooth cassette on the back there. And this is a guy that has got a lot of style. If you follow the series, you look at any of the photo slideshows or anything, he's always goofing around, having a good time. But he does take the racing serious on the way down.
Well, he's going to be out of touch with that time, as you can see that ticking away.
Yeah, Yago's top result this year, round number 2 in Argentina with a 13th. Otherwise, he's kind of banging around in that 20th to 35th place there. So, again, it's just a whole another beast here in Whistler, and especially with this last final stage. If you're not used to that kind of stuff, especially it's bike park, it's the whole way down. It's a bike park terrain. Can make it quite difficult.
Does it give an advantage to some of the guys who spend more time out here when it comes to racing out here in Whistler?
I don't think it necessarily gives an advantage if you're riding bike park in Whistler, but if you have a background where you ride bike park a fair bit, that helps a lot. It helps with carrying speed, cornering speed, and just knowing how to read the terrain.
Gray down the GLC, he's going to come across. The time in for him is going to check in at 22:48, so 11th. No danger right there, but that would still be a very strong finish if he could finish in that 11th spot. His best finish, as you mentioned, was Argentina, that 13th spot he got out there.
Yeah, good enough for 12th overall right now. Here we go, Pierre Charles Georges. He's going to be next into view as we're waiting for him to come down.
Well, 30 years old. Here we go right now. There's a look at him right now. Here comes Pierre.
Doing it for LeBlanc Commensal, one of the French-born riders. And again, not to label the Euros or the Frenchies, but it's a little different, this terrain for them. So I know it's something that they struggle with a little bit. Again, it's that bike park type riding. Things are a little more manicured here than they are in, as we saw in Leger, things are pretty rough and out of control over there. Whereas I struggle over there. I'm good with the bike park stuff here. As he's slicing his, dicing his way down. He's good to see there's a few people hanging out on the hillside, but we've got a pretty good crowd down in the bottom here.
Yeah, Skiers Plaza starting to fill on in with people watching the racing going on. Thanks for joining us out here at SRAM Canadian Open Enduro, presented by Specialized. Tristan Merrick, Brad J. Sam Hill right now, he's got your overall lead, 22:03 for stage 5, and he's got the overall lead for the overall as well with a 49:08, keeping that below that 5-0 mark. And Pierre is going to cross. His time is going to check in with a 22:41.51. That's a top 10. And I tell you what, that's how it's looking right now. Taking a look at our leaderboard here.
Sam trying to get some shade there behind the hot seat.
Wherever you can find it. All right, well, we'll be back with more racing coming your way. Stay with us. SRAM Canadian Open Enduro, presented by Specialized. The rest of the field coming down. Stay with us. It's all happening next.
Trails in your pocket. Trail 4.
I'll tell you what, you couldn't ask for a better day for racing going on in your SRAM Canadian Open Enduro, presented by Specialized, back on course right now. Who do we got, Tristan?
Looking like we got Justin Leov. This is a guy who had it stolen so cruelly from him last year. He was the points leader coming into Whistler, and it was that bridge up on Hey Bud that popped his shoulder out. But his time is looking pretty strong right now in this final stage, but he might do it for the overall.
So here we go. Justin Leov, the Kiwi, coming across 22:13.81, second place for the stage number 5. What does that do with him for the overall? Let's see that one. Let's see where Justin goes. Checking in with him. And he'll land into second place for that as well. 49.23.22, the overall for Justin Leov in second, and in second for stage 5. And now we take our attention to this next rider.
And this is Rennie Wildhaber. This is a guy that can put in the pedal strokes, and he would be loving stage number 5 right now. And Brad, look at the clock there. He has got a bit of time to play with. He's looking for that stage overall. Got another rider running the big wheels, running that 29er there. Sitting down, looking fresh. He's the mountain man, the Austrian there, doing his thing.
Again, check that time. It looks good. 21 and counting.
He's a mountain guide in the wintertime, mountain biker in the summertime.
Man, he's got it all covered, all bases covered. There's Hill. That's the time to beat for the stage. 22.033 run. Leov in that second spot, 22.13. He's 10 seconds off that pace of Hill.
He's got about 15 seconds to get across the stripe right now as he's sitting down. He's pushing hard, though, getting back up on the pedals there.
Trying to keep it close. Here we go. Over to the GLC drop for Rene Wildhaber, the Swiss rider. He's down. The time across. Oh! 22.0578. He may miss out on the stage, but you got to wonder, where does that put him for the overall? The overall for Rene.
We got Jared Graves coming into view right now. That is our man. He has not had the greatest of days, like we said, a couple flat tires. And this is normally the stage that is his forte. It's good to see him out here.
Well, 21 is not too bad right there. Sam Hill just a minute ahead of him.
Nah, you can tell he is kind of cruising right now, Brad. I think with the day he's had, He doesn't want to risk it too much on the way down there because this is a guy, stage 5 is his ballpark. This is his gem. He knows each and every secret of every corner because we've seen him do it in the past where he's been down by over 30 seconds coming into that final stage. And he's carved out a 45-second win margin to take the Enduro World Series in the past. But he just hasn't had the things go very well for him this year. Just lots of little bad luck from hitting rocks.
Oh. Maybe a stage win, though. Jared Graves, here we go. He's down the GLC. Look at the time. Jared Graves crossing, what is the time? A 21:45.87. That puts him in the #1 spot for the stage win right there.
Strong finish for him right there. Again, look at that bright, colorful kit that he's rocking there. Definitely standing out this year.
Well, speaking of bright, that's a bright note in a day that's probably not gone the way he'd like it to, but still, hey, solid stuff out of right there. Stage #5, 21:45.87. He'll take over that #1 spot. That's going to bump Sam Hill down. He's your overall leaderboard. Now, this is for the overall, all 5 stages combined. And Sam Hill right now in that driver's seat with that 49.08 and some change.
Yeah, he's looking good right there. Great to see Justin Leoff coming back from sickness. Again, he got Epstein-Barr after round #1 there, a.k.a. mono. But Thomas Lapierre, he should be our next guy into view here.
Lapierre, 26 years old.
Teammates with Isabeau.
Out of France right now. We'll see where he stacks up. Right now, Sam Hill's got the overall. The 49.08. Jared Graves has the stage 5 right now with a 21.45. So Graves kept it under the 22 mark. Let's see if anyone else could do that here on stage #5. Here we go.
Big Frenchman up on the pedals there, bringing it into view as he's cruising around. I just can't imagine, Brad, how tired these guys are. That's the one thing that I keep trying to put my, myself in their shoes. Like, how tired are they?
I think you can imagine because you've actually been out there and raced it. You've been through this, haven't you?
I have raced a couple of them, but it's been a while. It's been a while. So
you forget, right?
I just don't want to keep, holding on to the glory days of when I used to race. I'm a realist in that sense. Yes, at one point I did race it. Yes, at one point I did do an Enduro World Series. But I haven't done it in the last few years. He is still looking good, so as he's cruising along there, again, it's a deceivingly flat technical trail there, so it's really brutal the way they put them through there. It's not an easy one for them, but he's up on the gas. He knows he's looking for points. Well, he's looking for that overall right now as he's coming down into the GLC.
Well, there's 2 battles. You're trying to win the stage, and you're trying to win the overall. Lapierre coming across. What's his time going to check in? 22:28.74. That'll put him in top 10 right there. That'll put him in that 7th spot for him.
Yeah, Thomas' top result this year was actually in Aspen with a 20th place there. So maybe coming into a little bit of fire here late in the season, might be able to get a top 20 for him.
Well, as you can see right now, Jared Graves still the leader on stage #5. Your overall leader for all 5 stages combined, that's going to be Sam Hill. 49.08.67 for Mr. Sam Hill.
Yeah, well, we got Joe Barnes coming in next. Another guy doing it for the Canyon Factory Enduro team.
And a top 10 finish for him in Italy, the Enduro World Series.
Yeah, definitely excels more in the technical track, so. And look at Joe Barnes coming into view here. Again, he trains, he's been kind of mentored by Fabian Burrell, so he's learned a lot over the years. Clock's ticking away.
21.53, so he's not going to challenge.
No, not going to challenge that. And again, he would have done well in the tight, stages of 2, 3, and 4, but stage 5 is just a whole nother beast, Brad. You have to have that size just due to momentum, right? You have to have that carrying speed because every time you start pedaling, you've just got that 10, 20 pounds on all the rest of the other competitors. You're gonna be able to keep your momentum going down through top of the world, down through that no joke in the Garbanzo area as well.
He's definitely out of touch on this one now. 22.25 counting away for Joe Barnes.
Tons of talent and just hasn't really happened yet for him, Brad. It hasn't been his year. We've seen glimpses of it in the past. You see it when he rides his bike, uber talented, but just hasn't really come down to the results page yet.
And here comes Joe Barnes. The time in for Joe Barnes here on the stage. That's going to be 14th place, 22.43.87 for him. And let's send things down to Hannah Bernard standing by. What's going on, Hannah?
I'm just hanging out with the guy that's currently sitting in the hot seat overall, Sam Hill. How comfortable are you feeling in the hot seat right now?
It's nice just to sit down after a long day, but still got some big dudes coming down, and I'm sure there'll be some tough competition.
Talk to me about your day on the bike.
It was good. It's 5 long stages, and just tried to keep it steady, and I knew I'd need a lot of energy for this last stage, and gave it everything I had.
All right, well, congratulations so far. Lots more racers coming up. Guys, back up to you.
I'd say Sam Hill's a realist right now. Sam Hill's a realist because he knows how many more guys are coming down. Now, here's the guy that you've been talking about all day today.
Jesse Melamed. This kid, he has been putting it on all year long. And he's been slowly crawling up. You know, he'll have glimpses of brilliance in terms of what he's able to do. But this is his hometown crowd. He's born and raised here. His family's here. His friends are here. This is why he is here. He's going to be putting on the charge on the way down. And like I said, look at him. He's burying himself across the flats. And look at that time. Hey. Look at that time. And word is he was leading the overall before dropping into stage number 5, Brad. So you know he's got a little bit of extra motivation. Look at him just putting down the power, trying to keep it smooth down into the bottom of Hornet here. He's into easy, does it, getting that speed tuck. This is what hometown stories are all about. We've seen it with Greg Callahan before in Ireland. What would happen if a local boy wins here in Whistler? Getting wild. One of the spectators maybe jumping a little bit out of the way there if he's kicking out some rocks. He is coming in with determination, and he is always looking for more each and every round. He got 8th in Aspen Snowmass. He got 7th earlier today on stage number 1. We think he got a 3rd on stage number 2 as well. But look at this, Brad. He is coming down right now. What's the clock going to say when he crosses that line?
Melamed down the GLC. Here we go. He's not going to take the stage win. How's he going to do in the overall? 21.56.20. Put your hands together, Whistler. Where does that put him in the overall for Jesse Melamed? As we wait for it to come in, the overall for Jesse, the number 1 spot.
He crushes it.
The number 1 spot. 48.42.78. Wow.
28 seconds up right now.
Oh my gosh.
He is playing with change, going over right to the family right away. Big hug right there. I don't even know how he got back up after he sat down there for a second.
Yeah, you got to think he's not going to move. Well, Jesse Melamed is going to hold on to that number 1 spot on the overall. Put your hands together for the local boy. Come on now, Whistler.
You got to think, Brad, he left it all on the track there. Got the head down, but what do we got here coming into view? Johan Borelli. His turn right now. He calls this place home, even though he flies that French flag.
Well, he was 2nd in Whistler last year in 2015.
He's had a bit of an interesting year this year, Brad. Just a bit of a slow start. He got a 6th at round 1, and then things kind of just haven't really been going well since then. He's bounced around. He got 35th in Aspen Snowmass of the last round. That is uncharacteristic for him, but he's got the hometown fans. He's got his lady here for him, cheering him on. And you got to think he's got to be putting it all together here today. So he's out of touch with that stage time for stage number 5 there, but it's still all about the overall. He's putting in the pedal strokes, coming across there. He's going to take a turn, and we're going to start to see him come into view here of the GLC. Again, this is Johan Borelli.
There we go. Johan down the GLC. Here we go. 22.16 and counting. Where is he going to end up? The time in 22.19. That's 7th place for Johan Borelli, but where does that put him for the overall? That's going to put him in there down to the 8th spot for Borelli. Now we take back up top and see who we got next here.
Yeah, who do we got coming into view? We got the Kiwi. He's doing no-hander on the way down. He was wiping his hands off. We got Sam Blinkensop. This is a guy who won stage number 1 here today. He got 3rd earlier this year down in Argentina, his strongest result to date for the Enduro World Series. Double duty, he races World Cup downhill and the Enduros, Brad. No easy feat. He's combining both those schedules together, and he's still got a bit of time to play with as he's coming down through the bottom here.
Well, he's had a pretty solid day. Let's see if he can finish things off and do something solid here in the overall.
He's got that classic style, no gloves, that lanky body positioning as he's up, as he's pedaling along. He's not going to beat the stage time, but the overall still is at play, Brad, and that is what they're all going for here today.
Oh, look at those extra strokes there for Blanky as he comes across his time, 21.58.15, 3rd place. But now where does that put him in the overall? Melamed with a 48-42-78. That's the time he's trying to beat to take the overall.
So Blenkinsop into second place there, but still a bit of time that he's playing with. So there we go. There's our overall. Sam Blenkinsop 22 seconds behind, but Jesse Melamed. Those colors do run, bro. Those colors do run.
And you said it today, man. If you could predict this one, I hope you had him on your fantasy Crankworx.
Way to kick sand in my face right now. Well, looking, who do we got coming into view next here? Remy Gavin, actually Jesse's teammate on that Rocky Mountain Urge BP team. Again, rookie here for the Enduro World Series. And he has got time to play with as well with the stage overall. This kid has been stringing it together all year long. Top 10s in with stage results. But of course, he's got a 12th there, his best result of the season in Aspen Snowmass. Kid that calls home. He used to be a downhill racer. Now he's going to school just like Jesse. School in the wintertime, working away, getting educated, but then racing bikes all summer long. And you got to think it's got to be a bit of a, battle between the teammates. And then, of course, we're going for the stage number 5 result, which he is out of touch now. It's not going to be an option, but the overall is still at play, Brad.
See, that's the thing. It is a race within a race. Maybe the stage 5 is out of touch, but what can he do for the overall? Here comes Remy Gavin right now. The time, 22:02, 22:03. The time for him, 22:05. That's going to put him in 5th place right there for the stage with a 22:05. And that'll put him in 5th overall. So top 5 for Remy right there. But right now, Jesse Melamed, he is holding it on. There it is right there, 48-42-78. He is your leader in the overall right now.
Today is a good day, Brad.
Jesse,
how are you feeling down there? That's what I want to know. That kid is probably sweating bullets, not just from effort, but he is on the hot seat in his hometown. And there's some big guns still to drop in at the top there.
Big guns ablazing for sure on the way down. Welcome to the Barn Burner, which is the SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. Robin Wallner now 21-22 and counting.
Yeah, Robin coming into view. He's been, a good show in La Tuile. Got a 7th there. Got a 10th in Argentina. Started the season with a 23rd, 14th in Snowmass, and then a DNF in Ireland. So a bit of an up and down year. Good to see him again. Another one of the full-time downhillers that's converted to doing the Enduro World Series, and I think it just keeps coming down, like we talked about with Sam Hill, creativity on the track. It's not a one line. They don't have to just charge down, and downhill is just such an elite level sport, and these guys, well, they're doing 5 downhill stages in a day, Brad. So here we go, Robin cruising around into view here. Let's see what he's got here coming down off the GLC. He's out of touch right now for stage number 5 in terms of the overall. But let's see what he's got here. Slotting into 5th place overall on that. So 7th on the stage, 5th place overall for Robin Wallner. Let's see here. You got our course marshals up there, making sure people get through. Mark Scott, another one of the British riders. Guy's got tons and tons of talent. He's a youngster, and he was really lighting things on fire a couple years ago, and then just really hasn't materialized yet for him. Looking what we got here. Let's see here. Putting in the pedal strokes across the flats. He's got about 30 seconds to get down to the finish line, so he's not really in touch with that overall. We got a good little cable cam view there. Giving us a different perspective as they're working the way down. So again, it's just easy does it, but after the descending from all the way up at top of the world, no easy feat. The legs are tired, the arms are tired, the back's probably extremely sore. And that's just from this stage alone, doing one of those laps. They did 4 other stages here today.
I know, right?
Yeah, and not an easy one to deal with. But still trying to look fresh. He's got all those gears on the back with that Eagle cassette. But trying to keep it going along the flats there. So he's out of touch with stage number 5 in terms of the overall for that. But we've got the overall standings after 5 stages. Let's see what he's got here as he comes down across the line. What does the clock say?
And that's going to be a 22-12-4-3 for Mark Scott. That's going to put him in the top 10. 8th place for Scott and 11th overall for your standings right there for your SRAM Canadian Open Enduro. Presented by Specialized. I think it's time that we could check in with Hannah Bernard with more. Hannah?
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, I'm here with the local boy. Guys, I know you have some love for Jesse Melamed. Now, Jesse, we saw you run over to your family and embrace them after your performance. How good does it feel to be doing that in front of a home crowd?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, they were with me through my entire career up till now, and getting to race in front of them is just like the old times. And when I get tired in these stages, I just think about them, and it pushes me through.
Did you manage to get through a pretty clean race today on all 5 stages?
Almost. Couple of mistakes and 1 crash, but other than that, I'm super happy, yeah.
Well, congratulations on your performance. One more time, Jesse Melamed, the local boy here in Whistler, guys.
The kid is doing it. The kid is all right, Brad.
Kid is hot tonight, that is for sure. Let's take a look at things right now. That's your overall right now. And you see that Canadian flag loud and proud. Jesse with that #1 spot, 48.4278. Blanky in that #2 spot. Sam Hill falling out in 3, and Justin Leov in that 4 spot with Wallner rounding out your top 5.
It's got to look good when you got 22+ seconds on your nearest competitor there.
That's got to make you feel pretty good after 5 stages, that's for sure. All right, well, we got the top 15. All those riders are coming up for you in just a little bit. Stay with us for that. We'll be right back with more. Your SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. Don't touch that dial.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed Cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
For 75 years, Jeep has been a class leader in 4x4 capability, pushing 4x4 fuel economy farther and finding comfort zones in an award-winning interior. They say it's lonely at the top, but finding parking is a breeze.
4x4 today, tomorrow, and never say never.
Jeep Cherokee, with attractive financing offers now available.
All right, well, we are back into the action for you. SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. Who do we got now?
Yeah, I'm trying. Oh, we got Remy Absalon coming into view right here. So he did have a flat tire earlier today on stage #4. Good to see he was able to get everything fixed up, back up and going. But he is coming down, and we got word that he's still looking smooth on the way down there. He's still looking good. Let's see what we got going on here. So he's sliding his way down. But whoa, what do we got going on here? We got the guy that was leading last year, Josh Carlson, catching Remy Absalon right now.
Josh Carlson, he won 3 stages last year, and a mechanical knocked him out of the final contention. It's been a rough one for him, but you know he wants the rebate.
Yeah, 5th on stage, #1. 2nd on stage, #2. And look at that. He has been burying himself. He got 10th last week in Aspen Snowmass. But this is where it all unraveled last year on stage #5. What has he got for us here, Brad, as he's coming around that final corner? One more drop to go.
Look at this, 21:39. Look at this time for Josh Carlson. What's it gonna be? Oh, 21:45.60. That's the stage win right there, the #1 spot for the stage. But is it enough to knock Melamed out of the overall right now? It's coming in. Josh Carlson, 48.44, 2nd place. So Jesse Melamed will hold on to that #1 overall spot. Wow, dodging a bullet.
What a race is going on right now, Brad. So Josh slotting into 2nd place there. Oh, so close. Look at Jesse.
Oh, man.
Dude, did you just throw up between the knees or what?
Oh, my gosh.
It's not going to get any easier, bud. It's not going to get any easier. If you didn't throw up on the stages, you got to think this is going to make you sick to your stomach waiting to see if somebody might knock you out of that hot seat.
But Tristan, I'm very happy to see Josh Carlson take over that #1 spot as far as stage 5 goes. A rough year for him last year. He had those 3 stages in a rough competition, but to have him back, And to be in second place right now for the overall and the #1 spot, of course, for the stage 5. Here's how it's looking right there. Look at the difference between these guys. 1.52, Tristan. Wow.
That is, dude, that is after 48 minutes worth of racing today, Brad, and change. I almost feel bad for Jesse down there right now. I'm getting nervous up here for the kid.
But one thing you do notice, there is room between Josh and Blanky in those #2 and the #3 overall. Gallet now from France, he's up next. Vinci Enduro Racing, 26 years old. Let's see if Theo can challenge things here. It looks like he is going to be, he is out of touch for the stage 5, that's for sure here.
Yeah, Theo currently sitting 10th overall in the Enduro World Series standings. Started off the season strong, got a 9th in Chile, and then in the following weekend, 38th, but then got a 4th in Ireland. So strong result then. So kind of flashes of brilliance, and then 20ths and 30ths. So not the strongest showing for him here in terms of this stage. He's out of touch with that stage 5 overall time. Again, we got to remind people the time that is on the screen is just stage 5 overall, just for that one stage. And of course, we bring up the secondary time afterwards, which is your overall for all 5 stages combined. It could be confusing though with only 22 minutes. Some races are only that long. Let's see Theo bringing things down here as he's scrubbing off that GLC, looking smooth with that bright kit. You definitely can't miss him.
No, he's not going to challenge the time. That's 22.56, 5.4, 30th for him right there. Let's take a look and see who our next competitor making his way down here.
Yeah, Theo cycling around, spinning out the legs. This guy looks like he's been shot out of a cannon. Martin Mays coming into view right now. And he is, well, looking like that time. He is out of touch with stage #5, but he has been riding solid all day long. Yeah, first on stage #3. And again, this guy came out of nowhere at the beginning of the year. 2 seconds in a row at the first 2 rounds. Mechanical in Ireland. Then actually broke his wrist racing at the Fort William Downhill World Cup. But here he comes down into the GLC.
Martin Mays, here we go. 4th place in Whistler last year. 4th in Snowmass on the EWS. That's going to be a 22:11.72. 9th place for him. That's going to be for the stage 5. But Martin Mays looks like he'll climb up into the 3rd spot in the overall. Here we go. Time in for him. Yeah, there you go. 3rd place, 48.59.55.
Yeah, so Martin breathing down there. Time to catch his breath. Good to see him coming back. Oh, here we go. Curtis Keene coming into view next. Look at this guy. Stage #5. This has been his thing in the past. 3rd here back in 2014. He wanted to forget about last year, and redemption coming back. 2 top 10s in a row right now, Brad, for this guy. He has been riding strong the last couple of rounds, and he is riding that brand new Specialized Enduro, equipped with all the best little goodies there from SRAM. He's got that brand new Eagle cassette, the RockShox Lyric up front, but he is going to be pushing hard to come down here. He's going to want to finish the day strong. He's been putting in some great results all season long. 4th there in stage #1, 10th in stage #3, but a 6th and a 5th the last 2 rounds. What do we got for us, Brad?
Curtis Keene down the GLC. Curtis Keene, the American Dream, checking in, 21.57.44. That's going to be 4th place on stage #5 for Curtis Keene. That's going to put him in 6th place overall for Curtis Keene with a 49.14.75 of your overall time.
I can't help but think, Brad, Jesse's looking better and better. I don't want to say anything, but.
Yeah, you don't want to jinx it is what you don't want to do. Nico Lau, 27 years old from France, 2nd in the EWS in Snowmass. So fresh off a podium in Snowmass with that 2nd place finish.
Yeah, also a little 2nd back here in 2014. We've been loving that Crazy Train stage here today. And look at the clock. Things are looking strong for this guy. Bit of a slow start to the year, a little sluggish in terms of results, but really turning things up here at that last round. Back in the day, won Tweedlove in 2013, so he is a previous Enduro World Series round winner. And here we go, ducking and weaving around through the bottom there, getting a little drift on. We got some fans taking some shots there. But he's been, I know he actually had a little vacation the other day before this round. He decided to stay off the bike for a week, go over to Fino, check out things on Vancouver Island. And he's putting down the pedal strokes here now, down as he's coming into the line. looking like he is out of touch. But we've got a handful of riders still to come here after Nico Lau makes his way across the line.
Nico Lau down the GLC, carrying a bit of speed off that one. He's going to cross. His time for him is going to be a 21.5764. So he will go into 5th place with that one. That's on the stage, but your overall for Nico Lau is going to be a top 3 right now. And we can show it for the overall. That's going to be a 3rd place for him right there, a 48.5910. So a top 3 in your overall standings for Nico Lau.
Things are just starting to get building up there for everybody that maybe are just tuning in now for the first time. Got a handful more riders still to come. Likes of Greg Callahan, Francois Bailey-Maitre, Florian Nicolai, Jerome Clements, Damien Otten, and Richie Rude. And here we go, Greg Callahan. This is the guy that did it back in Ireland, back-to-back Ireland winner for the Enduro World Series.
So Craig Callahan from Ireland, like you said, he took that big old win out there in Ireland. That felt pretty good for him to get that one under his belt.
So Barron himself looking down there, maybe checking to see is there no more harder gears, is there no more easy gears? The legs are probably just spent. But this is a guy who has used the hometown energy to his advantage the last 2 years in Ireland. And I can't help but bring up the fact that Jesse is here. He is in the hot seat. It is his hometown. Can he do the same thing? We can see that Greg's out of touch there with that stage 5 overall time.
Yeah, so he's not going to challenge it for stage number 5, but how's he going to do in the overall for Greg Callahan from Ireland? As he comes down here, you see the last turn. Now he approaches the GLC drop. Comes down that one, keeps the rubber side down, making those pedal strokes across. And Jesse dodging yet another bullet, 22.14.08. That's 14th right there for Callahan in that 14th spot. So his overall looks like a 49.42 for him, so he's not going to be able to challenge the top 3 on that one. Melamed still holding on to that top spot in the overall. Your overall is a 48.42.78. Josh Carlson just behind him, 1.52.
Well, Francois Bailey-Maitre coming into view there. Throwing it down as he's spinning things out. You got to think, though, Greg Callahan coming down, him and Jesse, lots in common in terms of being in the hot seat in their hometown race. But Francois, this could be the danger man in the overall. Things are looking a little slow in terms of that stage 5 overall time, but if he's put in enough time in stage number 1, of course, again, we talked about it earlier today, it's an 8K bike park stage. There's lots of time to be won earlier today, not just in this final stage, Brad.
Yeah, so Francois Bailey-Maitre from France, as that time is ticking away, he's not going to be able to challenge Josh Carlson for the overall stage win with a 21.4560. But now it's all about the overall for Francois, as he can see where he's going to end up on that one. Here's the last approach in as he heads over to the GLC right below our little podium announce area. He lands that, gets those strokes in. He'll cross. The time going to be for Francois, that'll be a 22.17.74, 15th place for him. And that'll put him down in the 17th overall for Francois. Let's check in with Hannah Bernard standing by with Josh Carlson. What's going on, Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Well, we all know the story of Josh Carlson. Last year, he had an amazing showing in the first 4 stages, and then unfortunate tire blew out in the 5th stage. How good does it feel to come back and actually be sitting in the 2nd spot right now?
Oh, mate, it feels fantastic. Last year hurt so much, and there hasn't been a day or a night that's went by that I haven't thought about it. So, man, coming through today, and it was on my mind the whole stage. I was even started looking down at my tire because it felt soft in a few corners, but I don't know, maybe I was just hitting him a little bit harder. But, man, it feels great to come back and be in 2nd next to Jesse. And, man, I had a huge crash on stage 4, so I'm really glad that I'm not broken. And I'm super stoked to be up here on the podium. And you know what? The local kid Jesse's killing it, so I couldn't think of anyone better to beat me.
Coming back with redemption. Josh Carlson currently sitting in the 2nd spot.
You know what? I like what he said. He said there hasn't been a moment that's gone by that he's always thought about what happened last year. I'll tell you what, I think that's happened for me. I thought about what happened to him last year every single day since then. It's great to see how it is. Let's take out a cork right now and show you where these standings are. These guys are trying to crush Jesse Melamed's dream and taking the win.
And this is the live shot right now. This is live of where they're at on course. Florian Nikolai way further up than he should be, because he should be the next guy that we're coming down and seeing there. They're working their way down to the Whistler base, but Jerome Clements, Damien Otten, Richie Rude, Florian Nikolai, 4 riders left, Brad. 4 riders left. Jesse's down in that hot seat right now, hanging out. I was there when Greg Callahan won the first time in Ireland, and it was a vibe that I can't even explain. And I could only imagine if things were to go that way here today for Jesse.
Wow, what a day indeed for Jesse if he could hold on to that. Jesse Melamed, 3rd in the Stage 5 standings, but when we're talking overall, look at that time, 48.42.78. Jesse holding on to the best time of the day so far overall, Tristan.
Yeah, and that is strong. That is strong. Not to say I slightly doubted how much power he could put down on that stage number 5, but it's a stage that caters the big guys. So good to see him been putting on all that work in the offseason. All those training hours paying off, because he laid it down on that stage number 5 there. Again, 3rd fastest time overall on the day on that one alone, as we're waiting for our riders to come into view. I'm getting killed by the suspense. I don't know what's going on through Jesse's head. I mean, maybe we get a camera shot of him down there. I feel like he's probably maybe trying not to throw up, act cool. It's cool. You got Nico Lau on one side, who's won one of these things before.
Yeah.
You got Josh Carlson on the other side, who so close, but Jerome Clements, he's coming into view next. He is going to be our next racer coming down. 2013 Enduro World Series champion. Got 3rd last race in Aspen Snowmass. It's a guy rumored that we may not see so much in the future. He might be retiring from a full-time schedule. So Whistler, this might be the last time we see him, but it's all about now. And look at that. He's out of touch, actually, with stage number 5. We're seeing it right there. He's surpassed that time of Josh Carlson, but did he put in enough work earlier on today to get into that overall? Again, this guy is a magician on the bike. Floats through. We saw some slow motion footage of him earlier on today where he is finishing the corner before he even gets in the corner. He's got that small body type, which makes it work very well for the tight stage where there's the trees and all the other things you got to deal with. But look at him putting down the power.
And here he goes over to the last turn here. Now he goes to that little left-hander. Going to approach the GLC.
It's all about the overall now, Brad. Yeah. It's all about that overall.
That's what he's trying to get. Jerome Clements, 22-26. That's going to be 19th. Where is that going to put him? Is overall top 16, so no challenge yet. So Jesse Melamed still holding on to that overall.
And then there is 2 riders left here. We got Damien Otten. He's currently sitting second in the overall right now, Brad. We know he had a rear mechanical issue on stage number 1. We actually saw a photo of Jerome Clements helping him fix it up on there. And of course, 5th on stage number 2, 2nd on stage number 3.
29 years old, Damien Otten. Here we go. Here's a look at him right now. There's that plate number 20. The French rider doing it for Da Vinci Enduro Racing. 21-14 and counting. He's looking pretty darn close. Is that going to be enough to try and challenge Josh Carlson for the Stage 5 win? Or even more, is it going to be enough to challenge Jesse Melamed for the overall time of a 48-42.78?
Yeah, this is a guy who rides a lot of moto, Brad. That's his background, so the more blown out these courses get, the more he starts to excel through it. He's able to find those lines, jump over the hole, jump over the ruts that are forming. Damien coming down here again. Got a 7th at the start of the year, an 8th, a 6th, a 3rd, and then a 7th, so 3rd in Latuille. But this guy also was passed by Richie Rude in Latuille. So the stage win is out right now. It is not going to be for him on this 5th and final stage, but the overall still is at stake right now, Brad.
So he's trying to get those last strokes in. He's challenging for the overall for Damien Otten right there. 8th place for the stage, 22.05.02. So let's take a look at the overall. Well, there is one more guy that can crush Jesse's dream. And I'll tell you what, if there's one guy you don't want to be going last, that's our next rider. We're talking about Richie Rude, 21 years old out of Reading. He has been having an amazing year first in Italy on the EWS, first in Argentina, and first in Chile, and even third in Ireland. This has been an amazing year. Defending champ from last year here in Whistler, Richie Rude.
And let's not mess around with the clock. Look at that. He has got a minute's worth of time up right now. Sitting down, he's breathing heavy, but again, this guy carries momentum. Look at him putting down the power. There's a reason why he's got that #1 on the back and on the bike. And what's at stake right now is there's a hometown kid on that hot seat, and Richie Rude is coming down. How will the day blowing out? Okay, so losing a little bit of momentum there.
But can he hold it together? Here we go. This is going to be the last turn as he approaches the GLC. This is a good time. Check the time for Richie Rude. Check the time for Richie Rude. The stage is in reach right now. Is the overall in reach? He lands it rubber side down. Richie Rude, here we go. The time, 21:30 into the #1 spot for stage #5. But what does that do for the overall? Will it crush the dream of Jesse Melamed? Will USA take the win out here? Richie Rude, time coming in. 48:35.65. Richie Rude has done it. He has won not only the overall, but stage 5. All belongs to Richie Rude out here in Whistler.
And what a race right there, Brad.
What?
I'm heartbroken in one sense for Jesse, but Richie Rude showing why he is the #1 rider out there in the Enduro World Series, why he was the champion last year, why he's the champion this year, and throwing that steed up above his head there, celebrating for all you Whistler fans.
Richie Rude doing it in a big, big way. 21:30. 14 seconds takes over the #1 spot over Carlson, but let's check in right now with Hannah Bernard. Hannah.
2 years, 2 gold medals in the same event. How good does it feel, Richie?
Oh, it feels amazing. You know, it's even better today because I flatted on stage 2 and I had a bit of a breakdown, you know, because another dream like gone. I was like, oh, never going to be able to win this again. And, you know, I just ended up pulling back, and I was kind of relying on stage 5 to bring him out the most time, so, yeah.
Talk to me about each stage. So you talk about the adversities that you faced in stage 1 and stage 2, those mechanicals, and then you came back and won stage 3. What really got you through it?
Yeah, I mean, stage 1 went pretty well. I just felt smooth and felt like it was a good start to the day. And then stage 2, I flatted the same place as 2 years ago. And yeah, I was pretty gutted, but I tried to ride it down. And I don't know, like just was going to stage 3, was pretty close on time for my start and just pinned it and then just got focused and I was like, you know what? In Ireland, I came back, got in 3rd, so might as well just try again.
That makes it 4 firsts out of 6 races on the Enduro World Series. How does that sound to you?
Oh, it sounds great, you know.
Congratulations, your gold medals in the SRAM Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized.
How does that make you feel? That's an understatement right there. I mean, the dude has just controlled it this year with 4 first places, and not just, you know, 4 podiums, but 4 first places. Here's a look at it right there. Josh Carlson on the overall. He is going to come away in that 3rd spot. Jesse Melamed, well, it wasn't his today to take the win, but that's a very respectable showing, grabbing that 2nd place. And Richie Rude taking care of business with the big win.
Big baseline, I'm a blind, I'm a vibe to that. Big baseline, I'm a.
Workout started.
I'm 2 on beat, popping everybody coming in the 2 on 3. I know you can't see, baby girl, I know you want me. No talk, cause I got that thing. Big bird jacket got me looking like this. Did it, I didn't want to do it for the kid. It's Buzz Ball, brother, what you know? If you can't sing, step on the line, I'm a cool. I'll be hot stepping in my Air Max boot. Did it for the team, I'ma do it for the crew. Party all night.
60,000 trails in your pocket. Trailforx. Download the free app now.
SRAM Canadian Open Enduro, definitely not disappointing today, Tristan Merrick.
No, not at all. The history book getting rewritten here again today. Both of our #1 riders overcoming very challenging days with diversity, flats, mechanicals, but they're the strongest riders. There's a reason why they got the #1 on the bike.
But you made a good comment when we were in the commercial break about how close these guys were and how long of a day it was for racing.
That's it, 48 minutes of racing, and those guys in the top 3 were less than 9 seconds. So as much as I'm gutted for my buddy Josh and my buddy Jesse, you got to still think it's a great, great showing for both of those guys here in Whistler.
All right, well, I think let's just check in and with Jesse right now and see what's going on. Standing by with Hannah. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm here with your buddy, Tristan, the local hero, Jesse Milliman. No, Jesse, you can't write this kind of drama. You were biting your fingernails, 7 seconds between you and Richie Rude, but how does it feel to walk away with the #2 spot?
Just feels awesome to put a race together, you know, just in front of my friends and fans and family. I just wanted to have a good day, and I did that, and good enough for second. Richie, what can I say, man? He's just too good right now.
You've been getting better and better as the Enduro World Series has gone on, just getting better and better, and that #8 spot coming out of Aspen. Was that the confidence that you needed coming into this race here today?
Yeah, I mean, I've put up good results here in the previous years, but had mechanicals take me out, so I knew with my results recently at the last couple races that I just come here and ride my race and see what happens. And I mean, it couldn't have gone much better. I had 1 crash, but it wasn't 7 seconds, so yeah.
Can you tell us a little highlight from the day?
Just having my friends and family cheer me on.
And there they are. Congratulations on the #2 spot. Jesse Milliman, the local hero here at Crankworx Whistler.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Hannah, right there. And I know he's crushed. He wants that #1 spot, but I don't care how that's the best finish that he's ever gotten. Hey, join us, Fox Air DH. That is going to be happening for you coming up on Wednesday, our next broadcast. Don't miss out on that. Join us for the Fox Air DH. That's going to be on Wednesday. Check crankworx.com for the latest on that. Let's kind of wrap things up out here from Whistler as we're taking a look here. What a beautiful day indeed this was. A great day for racing all the way through. Congratulations. You got to give it up for Josh Carlson coming away in 3rd place. Jesse Milliman, he's getting that 2nd place. So the best finish ever for him. And then, of course, Richie Rude taking that #1 spot in the overall on that one. So tell you what a great day. Please join us at Fox Air DH. We're going to be doing that thing on Wednesday. But Tristan, man, what a great day it was. Glorious day.
What a day, what a venue, what a first broadcast, and what a great performance by all of our riders, Brad.
Well, on behalf of our entire Crankworx crew and everybody, thanks for watching us at home and all the people watching us here live here in Whistler. Thank you so much for being part of an amazing day. Just day #2 in the thick of things out here in Whistler. And it's, of course, Crankworx, your World Tour stop #3. Make sure you join us back here on Wednesday, the Fox Air DH, large and in charge. On behalf of Tristan Merrick, Cannon Bernard, I'm Brad J. And a very good night from Whistler.